Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abayim. We're continuing in Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Kuf Yud Zayin. We're in the middle of Sif Aleph. The Mechaber said that Baruch Aleinu, in Baruch Aleinu you say V'sein Talamata L'Vracha, and you begin to ask in Chutz in Mariv on the 60th day of the Tekufa. We saw in the Be'er Halach yesterday that there is a shita of the Pri Chadash that it has to be 60 days me'es la'es, and in that case, if for whatever reason the way the Tekufa comes out is it doesn't really begin until after Mariv or after Shachris or after Mincha, maybe you would not have to repeat the Shemana Esrei that first day. Most Achronim do not agree with that. In Eretz Yisroel they begin Zayin Cheshvan, and we ask until Mincha of Erev Yom Tov of Pesach. Okay, we're up to Mishnah Berura. Sivkat and Dalet, Hashishim, where the Ramah says the Yom HaTekufa is included in the 60. Kalaimar Yom Shenafel B'Yat Tekufa Mechashim Meklal Hashishim. The day the Tekufa falls out in is considered among the 60. V'afilu im ha-tekufa noifeles b'chatzi yom. Even if the tekufa falls out at midday, ay achar kach, rak sheyehei ktsas koydem halayla. It has to be a little bit before the night. Ula oilam shnei yamim, and there's always 2 days. Bein ha-tekufa lahashe'ela. Meaning, in terms of the way it falls out in days of the week, there'll always be 2 days between the Tekufa and the Shel. Meaning, the Imat Tekufa b'yom Aleph, HaShe'ela b'tvilas ha'arvis ha'shaycha liyom Daled. If the Tekufa falls out on a Sunday, there's going to be a buffer zone of Monday and Tuesday, and then the Mariv of Tuesday night, you'll start asking V'sein Talmat L'Vracha. The Beis Yosef, in the name of the Avudraham, says that it would be on the 22nd day of November if February in the coming year is 28 days, and if February is 29 days, it would be the 23rd day of November. I'm not sure what he's talking about. He's probably talking about like the Gregorian calendar or something, but I think the calendar was switched about 11 days, right? So for us it's December 4th or December 5th. Here he brings he says, from the year Taf Reish Samach and on, that's what year again? 1900, right? Taf Reish Samach. Yeah, 1900. It's from the 5th or 6th of December? I thought we do the 4th or the 5th, no? The calendar was switched, so those dates are obsolete. Okay. In Eretz Yisroel they begin on Zayin Cheshvan. Eretz Yisroel v'chulu l'fi shesham tzarach l'gsham. In Israel they actually need rain. Also in California they need rain. L'fi shegavayahu mikol ha'aratzos, because it's taller than any other land. Masha Inkim Bagoila, the sea level in the Goila is lower, it doesn't need as much rain. Eretz Yisrael needs rain more. V'anu b'chol chutz haaretz basar b'nei Goila de Bavel azinan. Us in chutz haaretz follow Bavel, meaning even if you live in the Alps, but since Bavel is low and it doesn't need as much rain, so if you live in an area that needs rain earlier, well, you don't ask earlier. Okay, now here we get to the fun stuff. Ben Eretz Yisrael b'chutz haaretz. If you have a resident of Israel who comes to Chutz Haaretz, or a resident of America that goes to Eretz Yisrael, Im daitoi b'soich shana lachsar, shoyel k'makaymai. If you plan on going back that year, you follow what you do in your place of origin. If you're going to stick it out for the year, v'im daitoi achar shana, shoyel k'makam shusham. You ask based on where you are. Afal pi sheyish isho ban mevesa, even though you left your wife and kids back at home. Kain kasa pri chadash ve'vi pri magadim. So the shita of the pri chadash is like this: that if you're in a different place, if you're going to be going back this year, you don't lose your status. If you're going back next year, you lose your status. Uve Sefer Birkei Yosef, and the Sefer Birkei Yosef, by the way, Birkei Yosef is a chida. It's also in this week's parsha. Gam b'nei Machir ben Menashe yuladu al Birkei Yosef. I was just being Maver so okay. The Birkei Yosef says, Hiskim Hashem kama gedolim ledas maharaz guta u mahari molchai. The Chida agrees to maharaz guta and mahari molcha. The cholechad yishal kivnei ha'ir anim saba. You just do what they do where you are. Udoloi kapri chadash ein sham. Wow, says the Chida, you follow where you are. You're in Israel, you start earlier. You go back to America, I guess you stop. You follow where you are. The needs are based on where you're located. You follow where you're located. Now, one second. Let's say in the world of the Pri Chadash, yeah? In the world of the Pri Chadash, if you're going to go back within the year, then you don't lose your status. But what if you're Shliach Tzibur, right? Again, in the Birkei Yosef's world, you do what they do. But in the Pri Chadash's world, you maintain what you're going to do unless you're going to be there for the year. So what if you're they're Shliach Tzibor. So the Chida says within the Pri Chadash, then you're silent Shmona Esrei. You'll do your personal thing, and when you do Chazar Sashatz, you'll do what they do. And that's what Rav Shlomo Zalman paskins. By the way, in Luach Eretz Yisroel, which is the official calendar of Eretz Yisrael, whether you like it or not, he says that the minhag of Bnei Sfarad is to follow, not the Pri Chadash, to follow the Chida. Meaning that you do what you do based on where you are. The Chazon Ish also passing that way. Fine. It says, Mishra l'chor midivrei haber heitev mashma dehem mayri davka be'in daiter lachsar. From the Ber Heitev, he's mashma, he's going like the Pri Chadash, that you only follow where you are if you're not going to go back. V'tzarch la'ayin v'tshuvas devar Shmuel v'sefer Yad Aron kisham mekayram. Now, what if like this? You started to ask like the Bnei Eretz Yisrael. Why? Let's say you were following the Chida. And then you go back to America. Says the Chida, even though you follow the place you're at, but once you start, you don't stop. Once you start, you don't stop. So the Chida says you follow the place you're at, but once you start, you don't stop. Otherwise, it looks like a joke. Says Rav Shlomo Zalman, very interesting. Okay. Weiter, Sivkatan Vav, Milel Zayin, Uvedieved, Imloi Sha'al, Machzir Noisai. B'dieved, if you didn't ask for rain, you have to go back. In Eretz Yisrael, you start from the night of the 7th, and b'dieved, if you didn't ask for rain, you go back. Ve'ino dermel arva shel Rosh Chodesh. This is not like Marav of Rosh Chodesh. The Shama tam mishum de'in mekadsh chodesh b'layla. There, you don't have to say al v'yava because we're not mekadesh the chodesh hanait. Kein kaseh b'sefer Birkei Yosef. If the sefer Zechar Avram mitzaded shaloi lachsa b'dieved. The Zechar Avram says no. The first night you don't go back. Uchadas halachas gans chelkav sim 9 gimel chamay bahazkara. Just like by Mashav Rachamar Goshem, you don't have to say it at night. So even though rain, you do ask at night, but if you didn't ask, you do not go back. That's a pella, wow. what's the pshat of the halachas katanos? Just like if they would be machriz, you should say Mard HaGeshem. The halachas katanos says like this, that just like there's a din hachraza by Mard HaGeshem, there's a din hachraza by B'sein Talmat Avracha. And legabe Geshem, the Yerushalmi says they only announce during the day, because that's when people are there. So b'di'eved, if you didn't say it at night, you don't have to go back. So he learns, yesterday we were saying that the din of Hazkara is only by Mashrach Mard HaGeshem. It's not by V'sein Talamat Avracha. But here we're seeing there is an achrain that says that there's a din of Hazkara, at least b'di'eved legabe V'sein Talamat Avracha, so that if you missed it, at night you don't go back.
Well, when is the Hazkara? By the day?
The Hazkara is by the day. When? I mean, there's no musaf.
The Chatchili should start by day then. The Chatchili shouldn't start at night. Same thing we do by Berura.
Maybe they announce before davening? I don't know. By Geshem, we don't announce until Musaf, right? Because you can't talk by Shachris. No, what's the reason we don't announce by Shachris? I think it's not because you can't talk, it's because people are going to think they started the night before. No? People are going to think, if you announce in the Shachris, they'll figure, oh, they probably started the night before, and next year they're going to start the night before. Yeah, this needs clarification. What is the din of Hazkara by Mashrach HaGeshem? Why is that more than V'sein Talmat Avracha? And there seems to be some element of Hazkara by V'sein Talmat Avracha. Okay, so the Zechar LaAvram, he says you don't go back, like the Halachas Katanos, Ayin Sham, Al Medivar Kam Achronim Shirus Mashkin. And most Achronim, many Achronim, it's not mashma that you could get away with missing the V'sein Talmat Avracha the first night. V'shoyalin ad, you ask until Mincha of Erev Yom Tov Harishayin Shel Pesach, Kolomer V'ad B'chlal V'in Chilek B'psika Bein Eretz Yisrael Chutz La'aretz. In terms of stopping, there's no difference whether you live in Chutz La'aretz or Eretz Yisrael. Sif Beis. Yechidim Hatzrichim L'mata B'mais Hachama. Individuals who need rain in the summer. Ein Shal L'noisa B'rchas Hashanim. You do not ask for rain in B'rchas Hashanim. Meaning, if you need rain, you cannot ask for it in V'sein Talmat Avracha, Ela B'shoymei Atfilah. By the way, I was at Mincha yesterday, and a random guy came over to me, and he was listening to the Shiurim, and he said, oh, you can't daven for a chayla every single day? And I said, no, you can't daven for a chayla every single day. So he told me a story about, he was davening for a particular chayla every single day, and he hadn't heard about him, and he decided to stop, and right after he found out the person passed away, like right after he stopped, like immediately after he stopped. But in any event, you're still not allowed to daven for the same chayla every single day. But why do I mention that over here? Because it's the same thing with rain. You can't make your own personal Shemona Esrei. Your Shemona Esrei is not yours. You don't own Shemona Esrei. It was made by Anshin Esadayla. You're allowed to be moisef to it on an ad hoc, right, at a temporary basis. But you can't make, so if you need rain, you can't say, well, I'm going to say V'sein Talamat Avracha. The rabbis tell you when you could say V'sein Talamat Avracha. If you need rain, you could ask personal requests, Shema Koleinu. Okay, so, V'afilu ir gedola Nineveh, even if you're a big city like Nineveh, or Eretz Achaz Kul, a whole country, Kamay Sfarad, B'chlala, or the whole Spain, or Ashkenaz B'chlala, or the whole Germany, Ki Yechidim Damu. You're still like individuals, and you say B'shomei Tefillah. By the way, this is a shaila when I went to Brazil, and they're in the southern hemisphere, So the whole region is flipped around. The whole region is flipped. Is that different? Because here it says Ashkenaz, Sfard. Okay, those are countries. This is a continent. You know, if you go to the south of the equator, does a switch. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah on this. Ein shal anoisai va'afti isa lekamam sim kofiyatesem hayotzach leparnasa imra berchas hashanim. We find in Sim Kufyates that if you need parnas, you ask him berchas hashanim. Shani parnasa shudavar atzarach lakol. That's because everyone needs parnasa. Ve'ein by hezek l'shamadam. And if you add it, it's not damaging to anyone. Aval matar yesh by hezek l'shar ratzos. You have no right to say b'sein tal matav bracha. It's going to start raining in places where it's harmful to rain. So you're not allowed to just add it to the Shemana Esrei. If you want to ask for it, you have to ask like a private citizen.
Well, asking should be the bracha.
Yeah, but you're asking for you. The problem is that it's not going to be for anybody else. That's not going to help, you know? So, says the Mishnah Berurah, B'shomei Tefillah, v'nira d'lfi zeh d'chol shekein sheyesh lanu lishol matar b'shomei Tefillah, Acher Zayin Mar Cheshvan, Oy Bein Pesach LaAtzeres B'Mekomes HaTzrichas L'Kach. According to this, an individual could ask for rain in Shomei Tefillah. Definitely, we can ask for rain in Shomei Tefillah after Zayin Cheshvan or between Pesach and Shavuos. Da'afilu b'tkufas Tammuz, the Siman Klolahim, Shomei Shailin b'Shomei Tefillah. Because even in Tammuz, where it could be a sign of a curse, you are allowed to add it to Shomei Tefillah. Okay, we'll hold it over here. We'll see everybody, Bez Hashem, Monday. Shkayach.